How concerned are you with some of the backlash that you're getting?
You know what? I'm not concerned. I'll say this much here. You know, people ask me about the letter, you know, the letter. To me, the letter did its job. It's like if I fire a warning shot in the sky, you're going to look. Right. You're going to look up where that shot come from. Right. And so with the NFL, that's what you have to do. You can't say, hey, you know, you're going to do right and give us health care, give us a pension. No, that won't work. For me, I've always said, but when we first started this as the Hall of Famers, we want the Hall of Famers first. As a group, the guys, I say we want to start with the Hall first. We want health care and a proper pension for every player. That's our mission. Right. We want to start with the Hall. Right. All of a sudden, now, it's all about Hall of Fame. And I know it said in the letter, but I want to make this perfectly clear to everyone that this is for every player that's ever played. We deserve this. This is what we deserve. Right. Players deserve it. I mean, I think it's a great movement. All of a sudden, I'm this villain. I'm this bad guy. You know, I'm selfish. You know, I'm money hungry. I mean, it's not about me. And look, I don't care who does this. You know, we talked. I said, when I asked him, I said, look, you want me to go back and we talked about this for 2 years. You want to go back and start this? He said, you do it. I said, okay, now. Be on board. Don't leave me out by myself. One thing my mother would always say to me, Eric, you got one bad quality. It's that loyalty. She say, you're too loyal. People are not as loyal as you. I told the guys, I'm willing to put everything on the line for this cause, and I believe that, because I think it's a good cause. You don't see the baseball players sitting up talking about their pension. You don't see the basketball players talking about, we don't have health insurance. It's just the football players. And I think it's the right thing to do. Now, you might not agree with how we went about it. Right. You know, you might not agree with that. But you know what? Like I said before, when you have a game plan, you might not, you're going like, that game plan ain't going to work. But you know what you do at the half? You make halftime adjustments. Right. And so that's what we're doing. We're making adjustments on the run. But I think the big thing is that letter got everyone talking. I'll say this once more time. This is for every player. I want every player to hear me, every player that ever played in the National Football, pre-93 guys. I mean, because, you know, a lot of these guys, people don't realize these guys are hurting. Yesterday, we had a conference call. One guy, I won't say his name, 74 years old. He says, only reason I'm still working so I can have health care. That's the only reason I work. He said, if I had health care, I wouldn't even work anymore. So, you know, like I said before, you might not like it, but I think that I know for a fact that we're doing what has to be done for our fellow brothers.
I don't have the problem that I have is that I felt we jumped the gun with the letter. I believe that instead of just automatically assuming, I believe you could have asked the NFL, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and the Players Association to come to the table. And you try to get them to the table and you try to explain to them, this is what we need, guys. I understand. And so for me also, ED, I don't want to get into a situation where you go pre-93, what happened before free agency, and post-93. When I say we want health care for all guys that are vested, now how do we get to that vested players 3 years, I think? I want all guys. Forget pre and post. We're not going to divide it up like that because we're already starting out with the Hall of Famers. There are only 180 living members in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Skip, that's a small number, but we're huge in stature. Yep. So we can get a seat at the table with these branches, with these entities, quicker than someone else that's not a Gold Jacket member. Yep. So that's what ED is saying. ED is saying, look, let us, if you run a race, somebody has to start the race.
You got
just
to start
don't end
somewhere,
it.
Right.
So you have someone that starts it and he hands it off and then he hands it off and then somebody brings it home. I get that. The problem, ED, is that with the letter, because I don't want the goodwill that we've been working from, and a lot of people are still working behind the scenes. You know that. Yes. Or working behind the scenes. I don't want the goodwill that's being built up working behind the scenes. I'm a firm believer, Skip, even when I played. I didn't want my contract negotiations in the public. I didn't want the team tell the public what they were offering me. Let's keep this behind closed doors, and then we come to a resolution. We walk out together hand in hand. I'm still a Bronco or I'm still a Raven, however the case may be. I believe that they'll do the right thing. They know this is the right thing. If we talk.
I don't want to cut you off, Shannon, but now you know the NFL never does the right thing. They don't. You have to. You're a former player. Yes. You know, any player that played in the National Football League know that. It's like saying the oppressor never wants to give up his oppression. Right. And that's how the National Football League is. You know, we've been talking about this for years. All of a sudden now they're gonna say, you know what, guys? Y'all right. You know, We're going to give you health care,
No.
and we're going to give you a proper pension, not a poverty pension. Man, I'm going to say, when Deacon Jones told me this, Eric, he asked me, he said, Eric, what's your pension? I said, well, I think I was 42. I said, I think it's probably about $2,500 right now if I took it. He said, you know what my pension is? I said, what? $250. What am I going to do with $250 a month?
Oh, the pension's terrible.
I mean, it's horrible. Terrible. It's laughable, man. I mean, so the point is that these are the guys who built this game. They deserve this. And all of a sudden, I'm this villain, like I'm opportunistic. Man, look, I'm fighting for every guy. And I'll say it again. I am loyal. I'm like my mother said, boy, you like a dog. I am loyal to the cause. That's how much I want to fight for every player that played in the National Football League.
Go ahead, Skip.
This is tough on me. I think you are the greatest running back who ever played. And beyond that, I just like you. So it's hard to be objective about this from my side of this table. I'm a hardcore, longtime National Football League fan. And that hall that you guys are in, it's the most hallowed hall of all the halls in all the sports. And it's an honor, the greatest honor in sports to me, for you two to reside forever in that hall. And I think you both would agree with that, that you appreciate the magnitude of that. When you fired that warning shot, and you could be right, maybe it requires that kind of gravity, that sort of ambition where you actually shoot that gun up in the air because you fired it. But you got to have your ducks in a row. You got to make sure everybody's on board. And then all of a sudden I hear Kurt Warner says, well, wait a second, I didn't really know about this. And Jerry Rice said, I don't know about this. Maybe they did or maybe they didn't. Maybe there's just some
I'll address that, but go ahead.
Okay, some miscommunication. But you better have it all lined up. He didn't really know enough about it. He knew the gist of it, right, the premise of it, but he wasn't sure, and so he was a little blindsided the morning that the story broke via ironically, Rob Parker on the Shadow League, and something that he had written. And then you go so far in the afternoon as to say, we want $300,000. And I can just tell you, most fans are like, what? You want $300,000 a year? And then you start going down the line of, well, does Brett Favre, does he need $300,000? Does John Elway, does Dan, the great quarterbacks, does O.J. Simpson deserve $300,000 a year? Because he's in there obviously too. We could just go on and on. So you're asking for about $100 million a year in pensions for all, how many is it? 180. And obviously that number will continue to rise each year. The NFL obviously mints money every year. So this, you could argue this is a drop in that bucket. But in the big picture, I think it hit people the wrong way to start with, but maybe you needed to hit the people in power the wrong way too. But the prospect of you two guys boycotting one of the more hallowed nights in sports, which is the induction ceremony, where I just sit back in my living room and I'm just enthralled with it because it is special, man. And for you guys, I picture that stage with nobody up there except the inductee.
Yeah, I think.
Well, once again, if I'm going to cut you off, right, the 300,000, that was just, and I'm not saying that was not even a number. That was a misquote, but I'll say this much here. If Roger Goodell can make $40 million a year, and DeMar Smith can make $4 million a year, plus an $8 million annuity plan, what is Jim Brown worth? What was Deacon Jones worth? It could be, the number could be 50,000, 70,000. It's something. I'm just saying, it's a number. It's all it is. I always tell people, don't get caught up on the small things, a little thing. We're not at a negotiating table. They're not coming out saying, hey, you know what? They're asking for $300,000 right now, and they're demanding it. That's not what we're doing. We're just trying to get people to understand how bad our pension is. The boycott once again, it's a warning shot. Now, what are we doing right now? Everybody's talking about it. You might not like it. You might not be popular with it. What they say? The truth is not always popular. But you know what? It's the truth. You might not like it. And hold up.
Go ahead.
My thing is, I'll say it again, is that I want to help the player. The killing part is all of a sudden, I get all these attacks on my character. Look, Skip, you're not perfect. You're not perfect.
Hell no.
You're not perfect, and I'm not perfect. But when I see things that I know that are not true, when I see things, they said that I crossed the picket line.
Yeah, I read that last night, 1987.
Man, I did
and Lawrence
never
Taylor.
cross the picket line.
Really?
Never. That is a lie. I played my last game for the Los Angeles Rams October 26, 1987. The reason I lost the rushing title because Charlie White played in the game. Right. I didn't play. I played one game when everybody came back.
Where did that come from?
Then we know one thing.
But there were a lot of people that did cross the picket
But
line.
I didn't. But I didn't. I got letters here from my guys that tweeted out. These are the guys that support us in that effort for the Hall of Fame. Right. But I never crossed the picket line. And the thing, when I see stuff like that, I'm like, I didn't cross no picket line. I know I did. I know where I was at. Right. For sure. And then all of a sudden I see this guy, what's the writer name? Jim Trotter, making all these accusations. Michael David Smith, I'm selfish. I'm trying to make all this money. Man, I'm not trying to do, I'm trying to help the guys. Right. That is my mission. You can tell I'm kind of passionate about this. I want to help. That is all I want to do. I don't care who Skip, if you took the reign, hey, I'm good with it. I'll sit back. Let's do it, dog. Let's do this.
I think the thing that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way is that a lot of the Hall of Fame members came out being critical of T.O. for boycotting his own induction. So how can we be so upset at T.O. for boycotting the induction, and then we turn around and talk about boycott? I get what you're saying, but for me, I just prefer to keep everything behind the scenes, handle it like that. I agree. Look. I know what went on, and I know some of the players that all of a sudden, when their name get out that they're on this list, now all of a sudden, I ain't say nothing, they're lying.
And quick thought, Jerry Rice, Kurt Warner, any communication?
I'll say this much here. Okay. For Kurt Warner, that was a miscommunication. Okay. Kurt said I supported. When I had 7 drafts I'm going through, I'm trying to read all the drafts. I didn't go to the bottom of every one of them. Of course, Kurt said he supported. He was not a board member. He just supported. Jerry Rice. Now, that one is perplexing to me. I ain't even go there. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there.
But I think here's the thing.
Hold on, I want to say one more thing. And John Randall, I like John Randall, but John Randall will say, man, but I'm not down with the letter. I said, John, it's not about a letter. It's about what we're trying to accomplish. I said, on the golf course that day, what did we say? I said, we want to start with the Hall of Fame guys. We want to try to get all the guys health care. Didn't we say that? Yes, but I say, forget the letter. It's not about a letter.
It's not. You know what it is? It's that their names on the letter, it became public.
All those names.
Right. If we're sitting around the table and Roger Goodell, David Baker, who's president of the Hall of Fame, and D. Smith, you pass out these letters and you say, these are some of the guys that's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame that support this. So I just want you to know this is not a Eric Dickerson thing. This is us. That'd have been fine. Skip, it's like a lot of things is that they try to keep affidavits and they try to keep people that's going to testify. They try to keep it private to the very last minute. Mm-hmm. I ain't got no problem testifying, but I just don't want you to know I'm going to testify.
I agree.
So
if one name says, I don't know anything about this, it disqualifies one of the more powerful. That's a powerful list right there.
And this I've got a great list. I got a great list of guys. Like I'll say it again. I want every guy. I keep saying it. Understand me when I say this. Shannon, you know it. Yeah. I want every guy that plays to help healthcare. We deserve it. We shouldn't have this poverty-stricken pension. It's ridiculous. And we have the most lucrative sport pretty much in the world. Everybody watches the National Football League. They really do. DeMar Smith, terrible job. David Baker, everybody loves David Baker.
I do love me, D.
But he ain't done nothing great. He's done nothing great. Seriously.
Yes, he has.
I disagree. We can agree to disagree. We can say it. We can agree to disagree.
But you got to understand.
Hold on. And then I go to Roger Goodell. Look, Roger has health insurance, doesn't he? His family has health insurance. He makes $40 million. I don't even care he makes $40 million. That's fine with me. Give him the $40 million. But you know what? Take care of these guys over here. Take care of us. That's my argument.
I got no problem with that. And that's the most important thing for me, ED, is the health care. And look, if they want to give a stipend to guys that's on Medicaid or Medicare, let those get the stipends. The most important thing to us, let's start with the health. Okay, if you want to start with the Hall of Fame, look, I would love to have it. Forget me. Give it to a guy that's not a Hall of Famer that needs it. I'm good.
That's exactly what you said, too. And that's what a lot of guys say. They say, like, you know what? I don't even need it. Just put it back in the pot.